Hello everyone, my name is Liz and today we're going to be doing a gentle vinyasa class. It's very well rounded. We're going to move into all the joints of the body, move into all the ways the spine can move. So go ahead and grab a couple props before we begin. Grab one blanket and two blocks. If you don't have those props, don't worry about it. Grab whatever you have around the house that sort of mimics that. So you can use books, blankets, couch pillows, feel free to be creative. I have my setup over here. I got my two blocks and my blanket right at the top of my mat. And so we're going to start today on the back, bringing the sitting bones first to the middle of your mat, and then start to lay all the way down, nice and flat here, one vertebra at a time. Once you get nice and heavy, we're going to plant the feet onto the mat and start by walking your feet a little out to the edges here. As you do so, you'll feel the knees draw in a little closer to one another. And that's going to help your lower back expand and broaden just a bit. Let's bring the fingertips now toward the lower belly or hip bones. And let the elbows just relax. Let the shoulders tuck in. And the chin might lightly tuck. While we're here, we're going to close the eyes. Try to rest your body, but begin to activate your breath. Inhale through your nostrils and try to let the fingertips on the belly rise up. Exhaling out of the nostrils, we're now going to relax the belly back down. So start with a simple belly focus of your breathing. And notice how the inhalation might naturally want to go more into the chest. As you keep expanding lower into the torso, think more so pelvis, maybe lower back as you breathe as well. So you're more so just sending the diaphragm downward here toward the internal organs and towards the pelvis, doing what it's supposed to do, doing its main function and flexing in that parachute shape. As you exhale out, the diaphragm is just going to rise nice and slowly back to that starting point. Okay, so from here, we're going to continue breathing into the belly and the diaphragm, but now start to stretch upward as well. So breathe down again, low in the belly, into the middle of the ribs, and then finally into the upper chest. Exhale, now keep the belly full for now, just relax your chest down. So empty from the top to the middle, and then finally to the belly. Let's do that a couple more times, get the hang of it. This is your diaphragmatic breath or three-part breath. Inhaling belly, ribs, and finally the chest. Exhale, hands are still lifted here. We're going to relax the chest down first. Then draw the ribs together here in the front of your body a little. Then the belly draws down. Two more times, guys. Inhale. Maybe this time think lower back, middle back, upper back. Breathing in. Find the very top or the peak of that inhale. Maybe hold it. Take another sip if you can. No pressure, no stress. Let it feel good. And then exhale, upper back, middle back, lower back. We got one more, so just feel your own breath here and notice the pace of it. Notice how many seconds the inhalation lasts as well as the exhalation. And we're going to continue to try to match those two together and keep that conscious focus on it. So with your next breath, then we're going to go ahead and now take the arms out wide, capital T style, bending at the elbows 90 degrees. We call this cactus arm or bull post. And then find the opposite shape of the feet, meaning walk them inward to touch slowly and let the knees open to the sides of your mat. This is where you might need two blocks. So if you need them, just put them underneath your outer thighs or knees. And do your best to relax here into all four of these circular joints. We're going to relax the belly down at the bottom of the exhale. And again, three-part breath. Inhale, belly. This time you might think about your hips as you inhale, your inner thighs, where the sensation is, all the way up into the shoulders, upper arms, and neck. Same breathing, but slightly different focus with it. Exhaling slowly from top to bottom. And again, take your time. It's easy to just let it out quickly, which isn't bad. But the slower you go, the more control you have over the pace, the more your mind is able to focus and stay connected. And we got a couple more big breaths here. So while you stay connected, just keep in mind, your mind will wander. It will shift around to things that have already happened or things that are going to perhaps happen. So catch yourself every time the mind shifts. And without being hard on yourself or being upset, just carry it right back into the moment. So this is where you might connect with a certain what I call anchor point. So feeling the sensation of your breath. Perhaps it's easy to focus on how your belly feels, rising and falling. That's a thing to connect back with whenever the mind wanders. Same with the sound of your breath. That one really works for me personally. So begin to give the breath a little bit more sound from the back of the throat. We have just 2 more breaths to go, guys. And maybe if you're able to, we're going to pause at the top of the inhale and hold the breath in. Take another sip or 2 if it feels good. Hold it again. No stress, right? We exhale when we need to, but perhaps you're comfortable here. Exhale when you leave, and then we'll find the bottom and maybe pause there. No stress. Start to circle the fingertips down toward the knees. Using some pressure with your hands, assist your inner thighs as they slowly close back up together on your next inhale. You might walk your feet out to the edges again as you do. It's a nice little way to assist. Now lightly pick up the hips just a centimeter, lower that lower back down to the mat. Find a nice flat sacrum, and then bring both of your knees into your chest. Find a nice big hug here. Your hips might have something to say, so we're going to rock a little side to side. If that feels nice, you can also find circles in your hips as if you're drawing them on the ceiling a couple times. And as always with circles, just go both ways. Find equal amount of rotations here in either direction. Maintaining that big breath. Every so often, it might feel great to sigh out your mouth. Just know you're releasing heat, but you're also releasing stress. So it's a beautiful thing. Now find a neutral back here, and then start to open the knees wider toward the edges of your mat, lowering your thighs downward. And as you relax the shoulders and just lightly draw the chin in, we're going to reach the hands further down toward maybe the ankles, the big toes, or the outer edges of your feet. And keeping that sacrum grounded, start to slowly lift the heels a little higher. And you might be able to get your heels right above your knee joints. Don't force it though. They can be much more forward. But breathe now into the hips and inner thighs. Feel that nice connection of your glutes and your sacrum. Side to side movement is wonderful. Maybe we're going to lightly extend one knee a tiny bit straighter and then the other one. And let's take another couple big breaths here to the top. Exhale it all the way out to the bottom. Feel the navel draw down. Feel the sacrum roll down. 1 or 2 more if you can, guys. Big breath here. Big breath out. All right, start to release what you're holding on to. Bring the knees back into the chest again, and feel free to again squeeze the knees, rock a little side to side. And this time we're going to bring the feet all the way down to the mat and walk them inward a little bit more towards your sitting bones. Let's go ahead and take the palms facing down next to your hips, really long arms here, and then tuck in the shoulder blades and feel those shoulder heads draw down. Let's look up here, find a long neck and active feet corners. So ground those corners of your feet. Next exhale, we're going to slightly pull the belly down, curl the tailbone up, and with strong thighs and glutes, push into the hands and start to lift your pelvis up a little here. And then just feel the connection of the foundation of this pose. Start with your feet, work your way up. Notice how your hands are placed, the arms, the shoulders. And then every inhale, the spine might get a little longer. The tailbone reaches forward. The neck lengthens here. Without moving the head at all, maybe push down a little firmer to lift the hips slightly higher. It's not a lot. Let's take 2 more breaths, guys. Firing up the thighs. Big breaths in and out. Allow the inner thighs to magnetize toward one another without having them touch. So you just don't want to stick them out. Last breath here, guys. See if your toes can even relax. Just don't squeeze them. Breathe in. Last exhale, maybe the hips can lift a little bit higher. And now with your inhale, let's lift the heels up. Lower slowly from the upper back to the middle and all the way to the lower and pelvis. All right, one more time here. Slowly bring knees into chest, one at a time to make it softer. And move a little bit right and left. we're going to eventually find our way into a seated position. So you can get there a couple different ways. Rocking and rolling up and down the spine is always good. Maybe more than once, if it feels nice. You can also roll to the side. And as you come to your seat, I recommend grabbing your blanket and placing it underneath your sitting bones. So once we find a seat here, allow your thighs to hang off of the blanket if you're on one, and relax your hands down to the lap. Palms up is more of a receptive gesture, more of a surrendering notion. So if you want to receive, right, if you want to surrender the tension of the body, the chatter of the mind, whatever it is that may be your intention today, palms up is great for that. But relax the fingers, relax the shoulders maybe more than once, and feel the length of your neck. Try to stack your head above your pelvis here, and if it feels good, we're going to rock a little forward and back and side to side until we feel like we have found this really nice center line of gravity. All right, now no matter how your legs are crossed, it's okay. You can even put blocks under your knees if it's really tight, but let them relax down if possible. Your next inhalation, we're going to take both of the arms up, maintaining that tall spine. On our first twist today, let's open up the chest to the right. Slowly drop the hands, bring your left hand to the right knee, and just the right fingertips touch the floor behind you. Keeping the shoulders down, lift lightly in the heart, grow tall, take a breath. And then think from the right shoulder, we're going to twist just a tiny bit more, opening through the collarbones, but drawing the frontal ribs in, same with the belly, so there's no back bending going on. We got 2 more breaths here, so feel free to lift a little higher on the inhale. Soften again, shoulders, face, but lift the crown of the head. Exhale to twist a little bit more from that upper thoracic back. And using these complete breaths, right, we're taking our time here. 1 more inhale to grow tall. Inhale, belly, ribs, and chest, same breath. Once you're nice and full, exhale, chest, ribs, belly, and slowly twist, pushing a little in the hands if it's helpful. Okay, coming back to center, reach both of the arms up, lengthening through fingers, sitting down through those bones. And as you exhale, just think belly buttons are going to drift a little forward. We look down and relax the hands to the mat. And then from here, we just tiptoe the fingers a little forward until you find your edge, wherever that might be. Begin to soften at your elbows. If the blocks are nearby and it feels appropriate for you to bring elbows to blocks, that's also a nice variation. I want you just to feel this enough to where it's noticeable, but not too intense. Some of you might be able to get your forehead all the way to the floor or even a block, right? A little more restorative. And then soften the shoulders, relax your face. Take some of the biggest breaths you can here, again, from the lower spine to the upper spine. Exhaling, thinking maybe down from top to bottom. Let's take just another 1 or 2 here. And not just lifting on the inhale, but thinking of expanding in all directions. The belly drops a bit, the side ribs reach out a little here. Everything's expanding 3-dimensionally. The exhale is going to empty you and contract everything to that midline. Start to push into the hands, and with your next breath in, we'll walk back with a flat spine, little baby steps here. Again, blocks near the top of your mat or nearby if you're using. And we're just going to change the cross of the legs and go the other way. Find a similar kind of seat, but let it be different because it's a different side. So find the sitting bones when you're ready. Inhale, reach up with your arms. Really pick up your spine tall here. And as you exhale, we're going to twist over to the left. Open the arms, relax your fingertips, nice heavy shoulders. Couple breaths, guys. So let the inhalations lift you, maybe untwist you a little here. The back of the neck is stretching up. The exhale, slow and complete. Think chest, ribs, then belly, and then slowly rotate. Little pressure in the fingers is fine. 1 more time, guys. Inhale slowly. Hold at the top for a split second, and then exhale slowly. Draw the navel in toward that lower back at the bottom. Coming back with an inhale, let's unwind, arms to sky. Really lift the heart here, and then once again, think belly button forward a few inches. Hands just come down right away, and they support you as you walk forward here. Utilizing 1 or 2 blocks, right? Find wherever your edge is. But again, we're letting the body lead us, not the head. The head leads us through everything in life, I feel like. So let this be a chance to really listen to whatever the hips, the back, right, the shoulders, anything you're saying here. Send the breaths into those specific areas, especially if they have a lot to say. Relax deeper every exhale. And just embrace that your two sides are different naturally. We got at least one more to go, guys. So inhale, think low belly, upper back, everywhere in between. Finally, that top, maybe hold it, take another sip, and then one last exhale in this forward fold. When your time is up to come out, when you feel ready, we'll push into the hands, walk them back step by step. Okay, from here, let's uncross the legs, come to a tabletop position, hands and knees. And you can uncurl that blanket out so it goes under your knees for a little cushion. Palms plant, spreading those middle fingers, or all the fingers, but point the middle one straight ahead. Try to find the interwebbing between the fingers, just a little pair. And then from there, we're going to soften the elbows, point them as back as you can, like toward the back corners of the mat. So they're still shoulder distance apart, but we're not sticking those elbows out. Now from here, put a soft bend in those elbows to lift the heart and roll the shoulders back into your cow pose. As you breathe out, push down into your hands and stretch around your back. Feel that pressure a little here in the arms, that strengthening, that relaxation of your head neck. 1 to 2 more of these, going slowly with your breath. Inhaling cow, the belly's going to relax and not just drop. Think about lengthening the belly instead. Now engage in the abdominals. We lightly lift by grounding into your foundation, so knees, feet, hands. One more at least, guys. If you want more than just these 3, go for it. You can also take an extra moment and just ask your spine its own opinion about what it wants to do. Maybe rock a little side to side. All right, come back to a neutral spine, look down. Again, wrap the elbows in, take a breath here. As you tuck the toes underneath you or behind you, we want all the toes tucked, even the pinky ones. Start to push a little into the hands and bring your hips back toward the heels. Next breath, fire up the arms. Find those same kind of elbows we did earlier. So wrap those inner arms a bit forward. Now try to keep that. I know it's a lot to hold for some of us. We're going to lift the hips with our exhale into downward facing dog. And notice if there is tightness in those shoulders. It's very common. I think all of us at least a little bit have it. So relax your head completely and know that you can bend your knees here. You don't have to get your heart like toward your knees at all. Just think about lengthening the spine. Maybe lift the heels up to get a little more height there. Keeping a little bend in the knees, exhale, lower your heels and just relax the weight of your head. Again, fire up those inner arms. Press down through the finger pads and take just 2 more breaths in this downward dog. Pedaling your feet back and forth can feel great. Same with hinging forward to a plank, getting into the shoulders if you wish to do so, guys. One last breath wherever you're at. Big exhale, draw the heels right behind those second or third toes. Let's inhale those heels as high as they can go. And as you exhale, slowly bring the knees down to the mat tabletop position. From here, we're going to open the knees much wider apart. Think to the edges of your mat. That's a perfect distance. Bring your big toes together and then sit your hips all the way back to those heels, relaxing the belly, forehead, and shoulders in your child's pose. And let's just be here for about 4 or 5 breaths. Let the inhale come in slowly through the nose, filling up your belly first, your ribs second. Every direction they reach out. And finally, the upper back and chest will rise. Try to let that be slow. Feel that equal amount of like pleasure, but also challenge. There should be a good amount of both of those. Last 2 breaths, decide if you want to lengthen the arms a little more in front of you. Maybe pick up the heart and open the knees a little wider. There's always little ways you can, change it up, customize these shapes for you today. One last breath, guys, to the very top. Big exhale, relaxing heavy here. We'll once again slide the hands back a little, shoulder distance apart, draw the knees in and rise up through tabletop position with your inhale. Look down to the mat. Again, we come to down dog, so tuck the toes, exhale, hips high to the sky. So a little bit repetitive to really get the hang of the shape. Inhale, lift up the heels, let your head just relax, maybe shake out the hair a little. Exhale, lower the heels back down, keep a slight bend in the knees, very, very tiny. All right, this time lift those heels like we did before, but on the exhale, the knees are only gonna lower 1 inch from the mat, look forward, push into those hands. Once you've emptied your lungs, we're gonna step or maybe walk your feet to the top of the mat. And then bring your feet about hip distance apart, together if you prefer. Rise up halfway with your next inhale. Your hands are gonna maybe come to your thighs, maybe your shins or blocks. Lengthen your spine out, look down, and as you exhale, bend the knees and lightly fold and relax the spine. Relax the arms, relax the head. Let's do that 2 more times, halfway lift. You want half of your weight in the balls of the feet. Try not to squeeze the toes, and then exhale, soften the knees. Uttanasana, forward fold. Nice long neck. 1 more time, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway, shoulders roll back. Belly's a little inward here, just a tiny bit. Exhale, fold forward. Really drive the navel into the spine. Now utilize the corners of your feet, push them down, lifting the arches, and then use the glutes to rise to standing, pushing down to rise all the way up. Fingers toward the sky here. Exhale, bring both of your hands down to the heart. Feel the frontal ribs draw inward toward one another here. So once we're in this Tadasana, again, check out your feet. Maybe they moved a little. We want them parallel. We want equal weight distribution between the heels and the balls of those feet. Now practice lifting your toes and spreading them out, and feel how much stronger the corners of your feet have rooted down. When you do that, you're going to lift your arches kind of naturally. And this is what's called Pada Bandha. So just keep all of that and relax and spread the toes back down, but don't change anything else. Can you now spread that gentle strength up your legs? Feel the thighs squeeze a little. Feel your glutes squeeze a little. We want to feel as though our pelvis in the front is lengthening without back bending, right? So we draw in the ribs, we relax the shoulders, imagining the tailbone is pointing down. There's a lot of points to this. So when you're ready, hands just again, rest to heart. Push the hands into one another a little bit, and now roll the shoulders down your back into your Tadasana. So from here, light bend in the knees. Inhale, circle the arms all the way up. Exhale, bend into those knees quite deeply as you slowly fold. Let your head be the very last thing to come down. Find that halfway lift. Hands might make it to the shins or ankles, maybe a little lower this time. And then if your blocks are in the way, move them out. We're going to come to plank, stepping 1 foot at a time to the back of your mat. And sometimes the slower the better. With that, we have a little more stretch in the middle. Find that long line of energy from your heels to the top of your head, wrapping those elbows a little in like we did before, and just hold for 2 more breaths if you can. Look slightly forward onto the floor. Draw the navel in, point your tailbone back, take another breath as the legs fire up. Now on this exhale, bring your knees just to the ground. So it's not quite tabletop, it's a little longer. From here, let's point the toes back and shift the body weight forward, keeping the hands where they're at. Inhale. Now with a flat back, draw the ribs in, elbows in. We lower halfway down. This is the height of your elbows with your shoulders. Pause for an inhale. I know it's strong. Elbows in. Now come all the way to the belly. Release. Once you're on your belly here, you might have a blanket under your hip bones. So feel free to move around if you want. Blocks are not needed. We're going to bring those hands and slide them back a little further toward the middle ribs. Now look down. If you want to bring your forehead down for a moment, go for it. Take a little rest here. We're going to now lengthen 1 leg at a time back behind you. So pick it up, stretch it back, lower the tops of the feet. Now can you lift your knees and strengthen your quads just a little bit? Your toes are still grounded. We're hugging our elbows in. Next inhale, let's slowly lift the heart just maybe 1 or 2 inches and pull it gently forward. Elbows in, shoulders back, and as you exhale, lower 1 or 2 vertebrae back down. Take 2 more breaths like this. This is your baby cobra. Very little weight is in the hands. Exhale, slowly come down. So we're using our back muscles that run up and down the spine. This time, maybe lift your hands all the way off the ground if you want to really utilize those muscles. Breathe in. And exhale, forehead down to the mat. All right, pushing into the palms, look down, light tuck to the chin, and we'll tuck the toes under with firm legs. Maybe the knees are lifted for more effort or they stay down. We're gonna rise with a flat back into your plank variation. Again, knees can be up or down. Exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. So find a breath. Lift the hips, elbows in, and then just relax the head and lower those heels. You can sigh that breath out if you want to, guys. One more big inhale. Big exhale. All right, lift those heels on your next breath in, as high as they can go. Exhale, knees about 1 inch from the mat, look forward, push into the hands. Empty your lungs now. Maybe with your opposite foot, we step up to the top of the mat. If you don't know which one that was, that's okay. Pick a foot. Rise halfway with your next breath in. Shoulders back. Lengthen through that lower spine. Exhale, fold, bend the knees. Relax your head. Strong feet, thighs, and glutes come up slowly with a flat back, arms to sky. Exhale, slowly, hands to heart. Move at the pace of your breath. One more Sunday, maybe a full expression this time. Inhale, circle those arms up. Push into the feet, exhale, bend the knees, and fold. Halfway lift with your next breath in. Plank pose, take that opposite foot back. And if it makes you think too hard, just pick a foot, doesn't matter. Find that plank. Now this time for more of a challenge, keep the knees lifted. Otherwise, drop those knees, right? Shift forward either way, breathe in. Elbows in, shoulders back, lower halfway down, hips included. Now this time, maybe take up dog, rolling forward, flip the feet over one at a time, lift your thighs, and then maybe the arms straighten and the shoulders roll back. Pushing down into the palms, exhale, engage your belly, come to downward facing dog. Take a big breath here. Big breath out. One more time. And exhale. Okay. This time we're going to walk the feet together at the back of the mat and take the right leg slowly back, three-legged dog. You can bend that standing leg as much as you want. Exhale, let's bring the right knee forward to the nose, round your back. Push into the hands. Once again, take the right leg up behind you. Maybe it gets a little straighter. Exhale, right knee to nose. Now empty your lungs. Step your right foot forward and lower your back knee to the ground. For this first lunge, I recommend grabbing 2 blocks, putting them underneath your shoulders, and then just aligning yourself in your first lunge today. Just know that this pose is always going to evolve with your practice and your range of motion and everything. So make sure the feet are hip distance apart, but the length is kind of up to you. You want to have your knee under your, knee on top of ankle, left hip able to come forward just as forward as the right. So I do recommend it at any moment to bring your fingers to your hip bones and just feel, where are my hip bones pointing? Can they both point forward? If you got that, inhale, light fingertips here, lift the heart. Inner thighs are drawing inward a little. And now as you exhale, just see if your hips can get a little heavier. Think slightly toward the front of the mat. 2 more times, push down into the front foot, lift the hips a little, stack your knee above your ankle, lift the heart. And then exhale, hips come forward a little bit more and just see if you can stretch even more into this left hip. One more time, guys. Push down into the right foot, lift a little. Let the belly and the chest inflate. Exhale, pelvis comes forward a tiny bit more. All right, now from here, we're gonna push again into the foot, lift the knee above the ankle, and then ground down so deeply in that foot that we start to rise all the way up to a low crescent, arms to sky. Now, if you need to walk your right foot a little more to the right, that definitely helps with balance. We want to keep the ball of the foot connected, the toes relaxed, just like when we were standing. Hips are facing the front, chest is elevating. With every inhale, we get taller. Now, as we exhale, let's go ahead and do the similar thing here. Bring the hips forward, this time a tiny back bend, so chest gets up, elbows go wide, maybe we're leaning 1 inch back. Push down into the legs to rise with a neutral spine. Breathe in. 2 more times, guys. Exhale, hips forward, chest up, elbows draw to the sides. Think about getting your low back long. 1 more time, root down to rise up. And last time here, exhale, little bend, be gentle, lift and open. Grow tall here. Push down to rise tall on your next inhale. And as you exhale out, this time with a flat back, hinge forward with your torso, take the arms back. Now draw those inner thighs in again. Your leg's gonna get a little tired, so use your glutes. Purposely squeeze those big stabilizing muscles. We have one more inhale, just hold it. The neck is long, exhale, belly in. Now as you inhale, just take your left fingertips lightly down to this block. Move it if you need to, so the block's under your shoulder. Right hand's gonna come to the heart or the hip. Inhale again to lengthen your spine forward. Keep that right foot real strong, glutes are strong. We rotate the heart to the right into a twist. So keep the twist, don't bend your back, just twist it, and then see if the right arm can lift. Now notice if your shoulder lifts into the ear, so we wanna lengthen the space. Every exhale, keep the space, but rotate a little more. We've got 2 more breaths, guys. You can take the arm that's up here, bring it behind you. Maybe circle it forward. Listen to what your shoulder wants to do. Last breath in the nose. Twisting deeper, push into that front foot. Exhale, rotate. We inhale and release really slowly. Bring the right hand down to that block. On the exhale, let's go ahead and shift both hips back a little. We're going to go back and forth a couple times. So now inhale, come forward in the hips. Exhale, go back with those hips. And think railroad tracks. We're not going right and left, we're just going forward and back. One more time, loosening up the joints and muscles. Breathe in. Exhale, hips go back a little here. All right, this time, slide the block back. Keep your hips above that left knee. So I recommend maybe letting your stance get longer by walking your front toes a bit higher. So this hip isn't going all the way back, right? It just stays above the knee. But we want to get this right leg longer. So go ahead and walk the toes out and then pull them up. Think about reaching all 5 of those toes back toward the face. Now square off those hips again. Bring that left hip forward if you need to. Keep a little bend in this right knee. Inhale, light fingertips, lift your heart. Shoulders go back and they're relaxing. Exhale, just think about reaching your heart more forward. Belly button maybe gets closer to the upper thigh. And we're not trying to get head to the leg, right? The head is chilling. We're focusing on that connecting point where the bend is coming from. So just a couple more breaths. Try to have nice soft elbows, soft face and shoulders. Breathe in. Let the sensation be mostly in this right leg. Breathing out to deepen if you want to, guys. And yes, you might start to lower more and more, but let the head be like an afterthought. Wherever the belly ends up, just let the rest of the spine follow. Last breath here. Big breath out. All right, start to walk the hands forward a little, lift your chest, slide the right heel back where it was, and gently bend back into that lunge. Okay, last piece to this puzzle, tuck your back toes under, lift that back knee, and if you want to rock a little back and forth, that can feel really nice. We're just going to simply eventually step your back foot up to meet the front. Feet hip distance, bend the knees, find your forward fold. Now let's hang out down here for a couple breaths. If you want your feet a little wider, shoulder distance is a good distance. Bend a lot in those knees and let your whole head, arms, shoulders, everything relax. You can either grab opposite elbows, maybe from behind your knees. Maybe interlace your fingers somewhere, but do let the weight of your body be what's stretching you, not any pressure here. The pressure you're feeling is in the corners of your feet. A little bit in the belly while you exhale. And your glutes and legs are keeping you stable. We got one more breath, guys. Let that inhale lift you and lengthen you. Let your exhale relax you. Okay, go ahead and bring your fingers to the floor. Walk your feet in about hip distance or together. Rise halfway up. Breathe in, lengthening that lower back. Exhale, knees bend, fold forward. We push into the feet to rise with the flat spine all the way to standing. Exhale those hands down to the heart. And then again, just feel where you are in space. Feel your right leg versus your left leg. Eventually, we find our Tadasana from the ground up. So corners of the feet press, arches lift, toes ground and spread. We'll get into that. Then strengthen the legs, lengthen the fronts of those hip bones, relaxing the shoulders down. Next breath in, we circle the arms all the way up. Push those feet down, and as you exhale, bend the knees and fold forward gently. Once your whole head is heavy, at the bottom, rise halfway, take a breath. Stepping perhaps your non-dominant foot, or whichever foot you want, to the back of the mat for plank pose at a time here. Lower the hips, reach the heart forward, and now hinge forward, breathe in, your knees can come down. Exhale, elbows into the side body, only lower to the height of your elbows. Don't go any lower, unless you're coming to your belly for cobra like we did before. If you want up dog, you gotta lift your hips up off the floor to get the arms straight. If you're in cobra, release the forehead down first and with a flat back, rise back to down dog. But if you're in up dog, you can go right there. Draw the belly in, use your exhale. We'll meet in down dog, guys. Take a really big breath once you get there. Elbows in, relax your head. Maybe shake out the hair a little. One more breath to go. Slowing the heart rate with your pause and with your exhale. Let's bring the feet together at the back of the mat. Inhale the left leg up just parallel to the floor. Little bend in the right knee. Exhale, bring that knee forward to the nose. Push into the hands. Once again, take the leg back maybe a little bit higher. Exhale that left knee in. Let's do that one more time, guys. Leg reaches back. Reach with your heel if you can. Even the inseam of the pant leg is lengthening. Exhale, knee to nose. Finish your exhale. Step that left foot forward. And then bring the right knee down to the mat. Grab your blocks on any setting. I like the medium setting here. But you might go much higher, right? Listen to what your body says. All right, legs are hip distance. We're feeling the connection of the front foot. The corners are really sealed down, same like Tadasana, right? Draw the inner thighs inward, kind of like a pair of scissors. And again, this length might change a bit the longer we do this. So like fingertips, let's lift the heart on that inhale. Keep those hips square, and then exhale. Just see if both hips can come a little more forward. And it's more of a relaxing feeling than anything. Inhale, push down into that left foot, feel the glutes activate, and lift back so your knee is above your ankle. It's a really tiny movement here. Again, exhale, hips forward. You're gonna feel this a lot in that right hip as well. One more at least, guys. Inhale, send the hips back a little bit, stack the joints, lift your heart. Exhale, hips come forward. It's not a sinking, but almost, right? Inner thighs stay active. Now inhale, push into that foot, come back to that lunge again. Look down, and with those inner thighs drawing in, your left glutes very active, we're just gonna fly the arms back and just see if you can hold this here. Your back is straight, your heart feels open, and the shoulders are rolling back. There's little lightning bolts shooting out of your fingers. Let's take our last breath here, guys, in and out. Stay through the exhale, belly in, ribs in. Now inhale, just your right fingertips come down to the block. Slide it back a little if you need to, so it's under your shoulder. Left hand to heart or hip. With your next breath out, we're gonna rotate, not bend, right, toward the leg. You don't wanna do that, just rotate, find a twist. Once your heart has twisted to the left, keep that left thigh in alignment. Push down into that foot, and then maybe take left arm up, but don't reach back, right? Just think fingers in line with shoulders. Option to circle that arm forward. Option to bind it. But we're honoring what the shoulder has to say. Let's take 2 more breaths, guys. So lengthen on the inhale. Unwind a little. Exhale, push down into the foundation. Rotate, maybe look up. Last breath here, guys. Exhale through the pose. Keep that front knee bending. And then inhale to release. Left fingertips down to the block. Exhale, bring both hips back a little. So we're gonna go back and forth a couple times here. Think like you're on railroad tracks. Inhale the hips forward, hips lower a little. You might look forward or up. Exhale, hips go back and the head follows. And on the third one, we'll stay there. So again, inhale, come forward, shoulders relax. Exhale, back. This time we find our half splits. Don't worry about the word splits. Doesn't have to be a crazy thing, but slide your hands and blocks back under shoulders. Hips might rock side to side, so bring them back into alignment. And you want your right hip especially to be right above that right knee. We're not bringing them back, okay? If anything, the front foot's gonna walk up so we can actually flex the ankle. Now, try not to lean the hips to the right. Bring both hips, again, very neutral. Lift your heart now. Think about all 5 of those toes, even your pinky toe, drawing back as the shoulders relax down. Without locking this knee out, we want a little bend here. We're gonna lower the belly button, not straight down so much, but think forward and then down. It's very subtle. You'll feel the difference, I'm sure. And hopefully 99% of the sensation is in the back of your leg right now. We got 3 more breaths to go. So I recommend if you want to, you can close your eyes. You can put your blocks lower, right? Whatever feels the best. But just keep the alignment. Notice your tendencies here. Does the foot tend to relax? Does this knee tend to lock? Maybe the hips are swaying to the right. So just keep all of that stuff going on. We have 1 more breath, guys. Chest forward toward the big toe. Exhale, belly button relaxes down. Maybe the head does too. When we come out of this, lift up and then slide this front heel back a little. Plant your foot onto the ground and now bend the knee and walk your hands forward. As we find our lunge again, you might again unravel a little back and forth, loosen up the muscles here. Let's eventually tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Pause for a couple breaths. Again, maybe rock a little back and forth. Inhale forward, exhale back. Good. The next time when you're ready, all we're gonna do is gently step the feet to the top of the mat. So back foot rises, hip distance or together, and then fold, bend the knees. Rise halfway up, take your time, inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Pushing down into the feet, rise slowly with that full breath in, come to standing. Exhale your hands to your heart. All right. Press down into the feet, circle up with the arms, big breath here, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, nice gentle fold, bend those knees. Halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Make your way to plank, but take your time with this, no rush, right? Step 1 foot at a time. Find the pose first, and then maybe modify, come to the knees. It's still super strong, right? Hinge forward. If you're trying to slow it down and build more strength, drop the knees. They will help. Lower halfway, elbows in, back still straight, bellies in, and maybe again come to cobra, right? So we bring the hips down, elbows in, lift a little in the heart as the legs stretch. Up dog is also there for you guys. Exhale, forehead down if you're in cobra, and then press back up through plank to come to down dog. Take a breath. Let it go. 1 more time in the nose. Out the nose. All right, step the feet together at the back of your mat. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, right knee to nose. This time just 1 time, and then we're gonna step the right foot forward. This time coming into warrior 1. So ground the back heel. Before you come up, hands to hips. Push down into both feet, square your hips, and with a flat back, we'll now start to rise. So always using your legs and your feet to come up, never using the back. We want to square that back hip, or I should say left hip, forward. We don't want it to be a back hip, right? Both hips even to the front. But there's a back leg for sure. So get that leg very, very straight. The outer edge is pressing, inner arch is lightly lifting. And now bend your front knee 90 degrees. We'll take the arms up when you're ready. We'll draw those ribs in. Relax your shoulders and neck. Find a couple big breaths here. Notice if one leg is working harder. Can you let them work evenly? Can you utilize the quads, the glutes, the edges of the feet? We've got 1 more to go, guys. So slow breath. Reach up to the pinky edges of the arms. As you exhale, push down into the feet. Lift your heart. Little back bend here. We're going to bend the elbows wide. Don't worry about going back very far. Lift up, up, up. Now inhale, ground the feet to rise really tall. Come out of your back bend. Exhale, bring the arms back as we reach the chest forward. Just hovering over your front thigh. Again, push down into the feet, rise back up, warrior one. The back is flat, but then exhale, come into that little back bend. Hips lower, heart rises. Nice wide chest here. Inhale, push down into the feet, arms up. Exhale, once again, take the arms back and look forward. All right, last time, guys, maybe with your eyes closed, try it on. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, bend the elbows, lift the heart, open that chest up. Your chin can be down into the chest if it wants to be. Inhale up to warrior one, neutral back. This time as you come forward, take the arms back, look in front of you onto the floor, then push into that right footprint to lift off your back, coming into warrior three. We're just here for 3 breaths, so try to get that left hip to come down a bit. Little bend in the standing leg. A lot of lift happening here in the chest. Plant the fingertips to the back wall. Same with your back heel. One last breath in, guys. Big exhale out. This time we're going to lower the back foot a little farther down the mat for warrior two. This time you want to have your feet heel to arch alignment. And once you have that, take the arms nice and wide. Now look at your front knee. Your front inner thigh should feel long. Your thighs should be in alignment with your toes. So we have an open right hip and a closed left hip. Get that back foot really planted. And then try to not be too shy about really bending that front knee. We're only here for 2 more breaths. So reach out through your fingers, lift through the top of your head, and both hips are coming down evenly. There's no wobbliness here. One more big breath to the top, guys. In the nose, out the nose. Keep the legs where they're at. Don't change a thing. Reverse your warrior. So come into a little side bend. Your right side body lifts. The shoulders relax. Exhale, keep bending the front knee. Now take your torso forward. Keep the waist straight. And then bring your right forearm to your thigh. All right, we're not sinking into this arm, right? We're lifting. And then maybe circle left arm up to 12. You can also bind like we did before. Maybe we take that top arm forward. But wherever you're at, the shoulder should be out of your ear. Chest should feel open. Ribs drawing into that midline. Great, guys. 2 more breaths if you want to close your eyes. To rest your neck, look down. Bend that front knee 90. It does like to straighten, right? Catch yourself. Maybe look up for more of a challenge. One last breath in. Big breath out. One more reverse. Here's the fun part. Don't change your front leg. So knee right above ankle. Keep it. Push into the foot. Reverse that warrior. Woo. Exhale. Bring your hands down. Plant the palms. Slowly close that left hip so we're on those back toes. And then step your right leg back to meet the left. Plank pose here. Option for a vinyasa. Hinge forward on your inhale if you do. Then lower halfway down. Option for that up dog. Lift your thighs if you want your arms straight. Shoulders roll back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Flip the feet. One over at a time. Rather than rolling over your toes if you can. It just kind of saves those toes. Let's take 2 more breaths, guys. Let your head relax. If you're really, really hot here, you can sigh out of your mouth. It helps you soften, get rid of some excess heat. But we do want to build that heat still. We're almost done with that, though. We got 1 more breath. All right, step the feet together, back of the mat. Inhale the left leg up slowly. Hip stays closed. Exhale, left knee to nose. Now empty the lungs. And then step forward. Back knee is going to stay lifted here. Look down to the mat. Pause for a second. Feel that back heel lift above that ball of the foot. Feel the inner thighs draw in. All right, take a full breath here, guys. Lengthening through the heart. Shoulders roll back. Big exhale. Maybe we can lower the hips a tiny bit more. All right, from this position, no hurry. We're going to plant the back foot all the way into a warrior one shape. So ground that back heel. And before you come up, hands to hips. Push into both of those feet. Keep your back nice and flat as you rise. Once you're up, you might get your feet a little wider, a little shorter, a little longer. But make sure that right hip can come forward. That's a big important part of this pose. And you'll slowly feel the hips creep open to the right often. So step that back foot out to the right another inch if you need that. All right, once you got that, the back leg is firmly straight. The arches of the feet are lifting a little. And we are bending that front knee 90. Once we have a flatter back, right, more pronounced engagement of the belly, take the arms up. Look straight ahead as the shoulders soften. However, the arms really reach. 2 more if you can, guys. Inhale. Big exhale, try not to grip your toes. Grip into the corners. Feel those inner thighs talk to each other. Last breath, now push into those feet a lot. Lift your heart. Exhale, tiny back bend here. So bend your elbow. Remember, it's tiny as we go back, but a lot as we go up. It's a big upward movement. Inhale, take the arms up. Neutralize the back. Now look to the floor in front of you. Fly the arms back behind you. Pull the ribs inward. 2 more just like that. Inhale, ground down into the feet. Arms up. Your back is flat for the second. And then exhale, little tiny back bend. Open the chest and belly. Maybe open those biceps a little more. Once again, reach up tall. Exhale, keep the bend in the front knee. Hinge forward with a flat back. Look down, arms reach back with a lot of energy. Last time here, guys, push down, rise up. Last back bend in this standing warrior. Big exhale. On the rise, we breathe in. Now look to the floor in front of you. Same idea, arms back, but this time start to push off of your back foot. So ground down into the front. Feel where you are in space. Adjust that right hip down a little because it always likes to lift. And then put a little bend in the standing leg here. Take that right heel straight back. Your chest is coming forward. 2 more breaths, guys. Feel the inner thighs talk to each other just like in that last pose. 1 more here. Inhale. Big exhale. We're going to step slowly back, but a little farther than usual than last time. Warrior 2. So in your warrior 2, we have heel to arch alignment, meaning 1 long line of energy between the legs in a line. So think tightrope. Now opening that front inner thigh bone, the femur here on the left side is pointing in the same direction as your toes. All right, lengthen through that back leg. Hips are evenly heavy. Arms out. 2 to 3 more breaths just holding here. Try to now relax your toes down, pushing into the corners. Exhaling, heavier hips, tighter belly. 1 more inhale, guys. Now look down at the front knee. Exhale, make sure it's right above the ankle. If you need to step up closer, that's okay. Now don't change anything in the legs. Inhale, reverse your warrior, little side bend. So the left side of the ribs lifts and bends to the sky just very gently. Exhale, keep that knee bending. Come forward with those ribs. And now bring your left forearm down to your left thigh. Remember, we're not sinking into it. We're lifting, but bending that knee. Opening your heart up, take right arm up. Maybe draw it into a half bind, sliding the fingers down your back. Or big circle forward, long side body. Either way, listen to the body, listen to the breath. 2 more times. Think top of the head forward on the inhale. Exhale, belly is a little tighter as the heart maybe rotates. We feel this long line of energy on the top side of the body. Last breath, guys. Exhale, now bend that front knee. This is the fun part. Keep that foot pushing, keep the glutes active. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Don't change your front leg. Breathe. Exhale, take both hands down to the mat. Step your left foot back. This is where you might add a vinyasa. You might also rest. So to rest, come to a child's pose or perhaps embryo. And the difference is really in the legs. Child's pose is the knees are wide, toes are touching. Embryo, the knees are together, toes are touching. Either way, we fold forward. Feel free to put a prop, a blanket, a block or something under your forehead. Rest your hands alongside your legs or out in front of you. But be able to rest your shoulders. Be able to feel your breath come in and out of your body. Slowing it down. Two more times, guys. In the nose. Out the nose. When you're ready to come up, move the props. Bring your hands under your shoulders, rise slowly up to tabletop position, hands and knees. Inhaling cow, we lift the heart lightly, roll the shoulders back, relax your belly. Exhale, cat, push into the hands, pull the belly up, lightly round your upper back, middle back, lower back. A couple more times if you're feeling it. Just move gently in your spine. Exhale. One more time, breathe in. Big breath out. All right, come back to a neutral spine with an inhalation. We're going to cool it down here, stretch out the hips by taking your feet out in front of you. So circle them around, either direction is great. Grab that blanket. We're going to use it to sit on here. So bring it underneath your sitting bones. Let your thighs hang off of it. Take both legs forward. Those of you who are really flexible might grab a block and just have it nearby you. All right, we're going to bend only into the right knee. Keep the left toes lifting. And then start to relax this right knee to the side. So we end up in a nice little hip opener on that right side. Let the knee relax. If it can't relax, you don't want to push on the knee, but encourage it, maybe a little lift and lower, lift and lower. You can also support it with a block, okay? Other block nearby if you're pretty flexible here. So we're going to bend into this left knee at least a little, just a tiny bit. Really flex this ankle, all 5 toes back, and then inhale, take the arms up, up, up. As you exhale, don't worry about where your head or chest are going. Just think low belly is going to reach forward toward that upper thigh. The hands come down pretty soon. And there's very light weight in the fingertips. I'm not trying to go down quite yet. Let's let the inhale again lengthen the chest, the belly, open the heart. And then again, belly button starts to come a little further forward. Now, as you do that, your hands are going to walk forward a little bit more as you can go. And the very end of this pose is where you might just rest your head. You don't pull it ever. There's never a pose where you're trying to get your head somewhere. The head just kind of ends up wherever it ends up. Now, this is where if you're really flexible in your hamstrings, you might put one block toward the inner shin or knee on the high or low or whatever setting you can reach. And again, we're not trying to get the head to the block. We're just seeing where the head goes, where comfortably it can end up resting. And if it does end up on that block, great. If not, who cares, right? It doesn't matter. You could let the head hang as well. Now send the breath into the back of this leg. That's where you really want to feel this pose, way more than your back, way more than your neck. So if you're feeling it in your spine at all, I recommend lifting higher and lengthening the lower belly, keeping that chest up. Don't even get the head to come down if that's the case. And just focus on that leg. We got 2 more breaths, guys. Think about even driving that left pinky toe back. So all 5 toes. A strap around the foot is also awesome. You can also hold onto the foot. Just be gentle, guys. Last breath. Lifting on the inhale and maybe getting a little more relaxed on the exhale. Bring your fingertips underneath your shoulders. Push them down into the mat to rise slowly to a nice tall spine. Great. From here, we're going to reach both arms up. Keep the legs. This time we twist the spine over to the right. So take the arms wide, relax, left hand to right knee, right hand goes behind you. Still flex this left foot here. Lift the top of your head above your tailbone, breathe in, and then rotate ever so gently. Feel that right shoulder draw back. Try not to bend your waist, just twist it. 1 to 2 more here, guys. Inhale, rise. Exhale, twist. Navel into spine. Good. Take another one if you want. We're going to come back slowly, no rush. Arms reach up. And then bring the hands down to the floor, near or behind the hips, somewhere like that. All we're going to do is switch the legs. So take that right knee up, stretch it forward, bend into the left, and open up the hip. And this is, again, a place to put that block is under the knee if you need it. All right, flex that right ankle, bend that right knee at least a little bit. Even if you're really flexible, bend it to start. Hips are grounded evenly, and we're facing that foot. Now inhale, take both arms up. The knee is bent, and we just think belly button to thigh. It might never get there. Just think low, low, low belly, somewhere near the thigh, then just relax your hands. If you already feel it in your leg, fantastic. Just take an inhale and get the spine longer. Maybe lift it taller. Shoulders roll back, face is relaxed. Then again, low belly, maybe a little more down the thigh. Then wherever your hands end up is great, but make sure it honors what you're feeling. You're not pulling too hard. Maybe we're using a strap right around the ball of your foot. Now, if you, again, are very flexible and you want more support for your head, that's when you put that block to the inside of that shin or knee. And don't worry, again, about getting your forehead to touch anything, but see if it can relax. Now, this left leg, right leg might straighten, but you don't want it to lock. So we got at least a couple more breaths, guys, moving slow with them. Try to breathe where the resistance is, even if it's a really intense feeling, just breathe toward it. Push a little against it with that breath. Big exhale out. Now walk your hands back under your shoulders, then push down. With a flat back, we rise up slowly. Keep your legs, inhale the arms tall. And this time we're keeping the spine straight, just twisting to the left side, relaxing the hands down. Maybe right hand, left knee. All right, again, flexing that foot, even though it has nothing to do with this pose. Lift very tall, breathe in. Exhale, start to rotate really gently. Feel the belly draw in, the shoulders drop a little bit. A couple more times, inhale, rise. Exhale, keep that height, just twist a little more if possible. Or just go to that same edge over and over again. One more time at least, guys, more if you want. Coming all the way back, breathe in, circle the arms up if you wish. Take the hands down by the hips or behind the hips, and then take that left leg forward and shake out the knees. This time we're gonna bring hands to the inner thighs, slide the feet together and the knees wide for Baddha Konasana, bound angle. And as we start here, know that your feet can go further forward. They can get also very, very close or somewhere in between. So listen to your knees. And again, you can put knees on blocks, right? So modify all you need. We're gonna find the sitting bones and really, really root them down. Rock side to side, notice the connection of those specific bones. And your hands might come to the feet, the floor. Just don't push on the knees. And we're gonna lift that heart up on your inhale. Same as last time, just think belly button a little more forward. Start low. The head will end up wherever, but it doesn't need to ever go low. Now, when your next inhale comes, make space for it. Lift up for it. Lengthen more for it, and then exhale to go a little bit deeper if you want. Now, it should take you at least 2 to 3 breaths to maybe start to come into whatever edge you're meant to find. Don't worry about getting there immediately. The edge is always moving too. So just feel where it is today. If you're able to try to open your feet a little bit, I know some people it's really hard to do that. Just do it the best you can, opening those feet up like a book. And now if you're not using your blocks for your knees, you might place them in front of you, shoulder distance apart, and rest your elbows if it feels good. And while we're here, notice how symmetrical yet asymmetrical this pose might feel. One shin, for example, or calf muscle might be touching the floor and the other one isn't. So just notice little things like that. Notice sensitivity. And I want you to visualize the areas that you are noticing, that you are feeling right now. And as if you're breathing specifically into those spots. Pretend you have little lungs in those spots. We've got 3 more breaths, guys, in the nose. Out the nose. Just test and see if maybe the spine can draw a little more length, maybe relax a little heavier. When you're ready to come out, we're going to bring the hands under the shoulders, walk them back step by step. Move your blocks to the sides, hands to the outer legs, and we'll slowly close them up. Okay, from here, get rid of your blanket that you're sitting on. Just put it to the side. Take your feet in front of you. And I would recommend having 1 or even 2 blocks stacked like this, so a very low setting on top of each other, next to your hips, just kind of ready to go. So as the feet press, we're going to reach out through the fingers, feel the belly draw in, curl the tailbone a little forward. There's a tiny C curve there. And now one vertebra at a time, we're going to lower. If your feet lift, that's okay. You can even come to boat pose for a couple breaths. Let's eventually come to the back, using the breath, using this slow control all the way down. Once you're down, reach the arms back and stretch your legs forward. Really lengthen. Bring your chin to your chest. Take a big breath here. Big exhale out. Drawing in those ribs. Okay, and then bending at your knees extremely deep, so your feet walk in as close to your hips as possible. We now take the hands down, similar to one of the first shapes we were in today. Now look to the ceiling, draw the shoulders and the elbows inward, plant those upper arms into the ground. And then from here, the feet are gonna really connect, especially into the corners. With an inhale, curl the tailbone a little up. Bring some strength into the thighs. Now as you exhale, engage your belly. Start to slowly float your hips off of the ground. And this is where your hand might reach for those blocks. Either just grab one if you're a little newer at this. Place the block on the low or medium setting under your sacrum. Or if you want to go for it, it's both a little more supportive and a little more deep to bring your hips onto two blocks. So wherever you end up here, rest if you can. Keep your knees bent, feet on the floor. And hopefully you feel like the very center of your pelvis is supported. From there, the shoulders might adjust, your arms might reach back, or cactus arm, right, like in the beginning. And this is where you can just close your eyes for a moment and breathe. Feel how your inhale pushes the belly upward a bit, the ribs out a bit, the chest to the chin. Feel that fullness and then get just as empty with that exhale. Chest, ribs, belly, and let the belly sink down. Feel that hollowness between the hip bones. This is where you might feel an interesting dull stretch inside of your pelvis. And there's these two long muscles there called your psoases. And they're a little neglected, especially if you run a lot, sit a lot, walk a lot. They tend to not get stretched very often. So if that's where you're feeling your sensitivity, awesome. If you're feeling it in your spine, we'll come down a little bit or all the way. And then just give yourself another couple big breaths here released. And keep in mind, anywhere I leave you, especially at this point, is a place you can stay. When you are ready to come out, don't just lift your hips up. We have a couple little steps first. So bring your ankles under your knees. Plant the corners of the feet. Now squeeze your glutes, squeeze your thighs, squeeze your low belly muscles. As you exhale, push the feet down, push the shoulders down, lift the hips a millimeter, slide those blocks out. Now when you're ready to come down, lift the heels, curl your tailbone up, and roll from your upper back all the way to the lower back, and just go extremely slow. Once you're there, it might feel really nice to do one of two things. One, knees in chest. If that's too intense, the second option might be better. Take the knees to the right, exhale, inhale, knees up. Arms can go out to the sides if they want. Exhale, knees to the left, inhale, knees up. So either of those, right? Little windshield wiper or knees into chest, and maybe rock side to side here. Wherever you are, just feel that softening of your lower back, your hips, and breathe. Good. This time we're going to open the knees a little wider. Happy baby one more time, grabbing the outer edges of the feet if you can. Otherwise, just grab your thighs or your ankles. And then try your best to really relax the sacrum down. Even if your shoulder blades are lifted, keep your head down and lengthen your neck. We're going to breathe now so far down into the hips and belly that belly is lifting And on the exhale, it is lowering a lot. It's engaging. You're feeling that exhale even come out of your pelvis and hips. Let's take 2 more breaths at least and rock side to side if you'd like to, guys. One more time, breathe in. Big breath out. Start to release the feet, bring both knees back into the chest again. Again, move however feels the best. We're going to end here on a twist today. So keep that right knee where it is, lower your left foot to the ground, and slide that left leg all the way forward, flexing the ankle. Pull that right thigh a little closer in toward the right side of the ribs. Maybe roll out your right ankle a couple times. Go both ways. Then take the right arm out to the right, directly outside the shoulder. Big breath here. As you exhale, we're going to roll into the left hip slowly, come into the tiniest twist to begin. Don't try to get your right knee to the ground. So starting out with no pushing that leg, but use your exhale. The emptier your lungs get, the deeper your twist might get. Now, next time you breathe in, there's a lifting action. So go with that. Lift the belly up. Lift that hip and thigh. Move with your breath, your exhale to return again. Nice and heavy into this shape. For the last 2 breaths here on this side, you might look to the right hand. You might take your left arm to the ground. And I like to bring my right foot to the inner thigh so it has somewhere to go. It's not just trying to get to the floor, right? It feels a little softer. Last breath here to the top. Big exhale out. All right, start to come back to center with your next inhalation. Exhale, bring both knees into your chest one more time. And we'll switch sides here. Right foot comes down. Slowly slide that leg forward, toes flex back. Pull that left knee down into the ribs a little. Then inhale your left arm out to the side. You can also bend the elbow. Breathe in. Keep this left arm on the ground. Roll slowly onto your left hip or your right hip. And as you do, again, don't push the knee. I know it's tempting. Take your hand to the floor if you need to. And just rest this foot onto the opposite thigh. Your breath is going to take over from here. So inhale, feel that lifting, that expanding feeling. Exhale is where you're going to deepen by emptying your belly. Two more times, guys. All right, think about coming back slowly with your next inhale. Plant the feet. Exhale, adjust the pelvis nice and flat. Bring the knees into the chest. I guess this is really our last time, right? Finding the shape. And now when it comes to rest in your body, mostly I just want you to get comfortable. So I love to lightly place either a bolster blanket or 2 blocks, right? One under each knee to allow the pelvis to find this really nice tilt, this really nice relaxing feeling. That lower back can now lengthen and soften. Just an option. You can really find any shape in the world as long as you're able to relax in it. So whatever shape that might be, maybe we're taking a couple moments to wiggle around. Blanket under head is a good one. And then begin to tuck in your shoulder blades, lengthen through the arms, or even bend the elbows. And while you're here, this is the time to soak up your practice, what I think is the most important time of your practice. So try not to spend it by thinking about all the things you have to do today or tomorrow or next week or whatever. Focus on how relaxed you feel. If you don't feel that relaxed, wiggle around, make some adjustments until you're able to completely soften your body from head to toe. Let your breath relax. No longer does it deepen or create sound. Let your facial muscles relax. Your jaw, your eyes, cheeks and forehead, shoulders, hips and belly. Just continue connecting to the space beneath you, growing heavier and heavier for the next minute or two. Now the timing at which you reawaken is always up to you. So don't let me rush you at all. Please feel free to stay here as long as you want. When the time comes to wake up, we're going to breathe in a little deeper. In the nose, out the mouth or nose. Move a little in the toes and fingers, hands and feet, arms and legs. Maybe stretching on that next inhale. Nice and long here in your limbs. Exhale, knees in chest. Moving however you want to move. Eventually coming up to a seat, however you wish to do so. As you rise up, try to keep your eyes closed. Find a nice tall spine, nice heavy shoulders, relaxing the hands, the facial muscles. Take this time to feel where you are in space, what it's like to be in your body right now. Notice all of the sensations you're experiencing. Notice maybe a new mood or energy that you are carrying in this moment. Maybe if you're feeling really good, which I hope you are, you're going to utilize this time to visualize. Finding little specifics of the things that you are excited about, the things you are manifesting, things you're wishing for. You might not be able to see them yet, but they are on their way to you. Focusing on the feeling that you'll get once they truly manifest. Holding on to those. I hope you feel lighter and spacious, happier in your bodies today, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.